Welcome, ballers, babes who love box scores and bench warmers. This is Femme Playbook, the only sports podcast that covers triple doubles and thirst traps. I'm Liv, your host, coach, and unapologetically queer commentator with big opinions and an even bigger crush on Paige Beckers. Hey, how y'all doing? Guys, I'm not doing well. I don't know if you can tell, but I sound incredibly sick. My voice is very raspy. So, I know, sexy is free, but yeah, it's so raspy, and I'm probably gonna cough a lot and have to stop and take sips of water, and I'm also probably gonna sneeze a lot. I don't know what I have. It's probably just a cold, but I'm getting to the point where cold air hitting me is the worst pain. So now I'm afraid I have something worse, but I tend to when I'm sick, especially since I came to college, downplay it, pretend that I'm not dead. And that's what's happening to me right now. I feel horrible and I want to take a nap, but I'm here and that's all that matters. So, yeah, I see, I feel a cough coming on right now, and this is going to be so interesting. You're going to hear my water a lot. I wish you guys could see how cute my water jug is, but it's okay, whatever. Okay, so this week we're gonna talk about rugby because I recently figured it out how the rules work. I'll talk about that, and then I'm also gonna cover uniforms in women's sports and how really messed up it is. But I just want to talk about my life for a little bit because the craziest things have happened to me in the past few days. Some related to sports, some not, and I just need to tell somebody about it, and I want to talk to the girls about it. So everybody, girls and gays, open your ears. So basically, and my dad, hi. So basically, a couple days ago, so I know I've mentioned this before, but I'm in a professional writing class, and one of the things we had to do was write a professional bio. And I obviously was kind of terrified because I tend to try and go above and beyond for this. And, it isn't always easy to get responses from people because I think I probably sent 5 emails to different sports writers to be hey, can we go on Zoom? But I get it. They didn't respond. It's okay. I get it. It's fine. It's fine. But, oh my gosh. Sorry, I just heard someone and it scared me. Okay, so basically, a few days ago, I was I'm just gonna give up and text someone I know. That's just what it's gonna have to be and that's okay. I don't have to shoot for the stars on this assignment. I don't even think it's worth that much. It probably is, but at that point I was gonna pretend that it didn't matter. And then one of my favorite authors, Becca Grishow, I knew that she lived in Chicago. So I was I wonder if I could find her email. I wonder if I could make that happen. And so I looked her up. I found her email. I emailed her. Pretty simple email, basically just being hey, this is who I am. This is where I go to school. This is why I'm emailing you. And I know this is probably a shot in the dark, but I think it'd be really cool. And so she responded within literally 5 minutes and was yes, let's get coffee. And so yesterday I went and got coffee with Becca, who is the author of I'll Get Back to You. If you haven't read I'll Get Back to You and I haven't already told you to read it, read I'll Get Back to You. It is so good. It's a cute little queer romance coming of age. It's beautiful and I love it. And especially at the age I'm at, it is so it kind of just hits close, and the plot of the story hits very close, and it's great, and I love it. And it's got a lot of there's a lot of homage to Chicago in there and that kind of thing. So it's beautiful. I love it very much. But I got to meet her yesterday, and it was the best thing ever. And she signed my book, which was so amazing. And I cried. I cried for a little bit after that. But truthfully, the coolest thing ever. I'll never shut up about it. I loved every second of talking with her, and she was just so unbelievably cool right off the bat. Like, with that kind of thing, you just never know. Like, they could be super arrogant, and you know what? You're just gonna have to roll with it because it was for an assignment. But she was super cool and super nice and so easy to talk to and very down to earth, and love her so much. Can't wait for her next book to come out. I'm very, very excited. But with that being said, also yesterday, a few hours after I had met Becca, sorry, I have to yawn. Guys, I do not feel good. I do not feel good. Anyway, whatever. So, literal hours after I met Becca, I had a UConn game, which was at Wintrust Arena versus DePaul. And if you don't pay attention to Big East or NCAA, currently in the Big East Conference, UConn is undefeated #1 and DePaul is last in the conference. So it was kind of like immediately you knew how the game was going to pan out. And then what worked out really well about it was I have a assignment for digital journalism where I have to create like a multimedia article basically. And so I'm going to do it over the UConn game. And my roommate was so gracious and gave me her like Kodak Digicam. And so it's filmed like exclusively on a digital camera. And I thought that was very cool. And I'm very excited. And the game was so cool. Seeing AZ Fudd like in real life made me realize like that's wife. Like, who is Paige Becker's? That's wife. I'm kidding. I would never. I'm never a traitor to Paige Becker's. But AZ Fudd is truly like incredible. She's even more jacked in person, and her threes are even more beautiful. In person, the way she like squares herself up is just like so incredible. She is literally the coolest person ever. And seeing Sarah Strong play, she like shouldered a defender and was like unfazed. I don't even remember if there might have been they might have got like 2 free throws for that. But it was literally so cool. And oh my God, not enough people are talking about K9. I feel like K9 brings so much to the game. The way she drives the ball up to the net is like absolutely insane. And I feel like she's like small and like agile. I mean, I'm gonna say small, but she's probably like really tall. Wait, let me look it up. Please hold. I really have to pee, which is super unfortunate because like it's not gonna happen for me soon. Okay, sorry, I'm looking it up. She's 5'9", so I said that she was small. I'm 5'2", for reference. Like, she's a lot taller than me. But, like, in, like, retrospect, like, that is, like, shorter on the basketball side. So, yeah, with that being said, the way she drives the ball to the net is, like, literally impeccable. And I love her so much. And she's so cool. But, yeah, the game was super fun. The energy was really fun because it was, like, all UConn fans and, like, 3 DePaul fans. And the DePaul fans that were there stayed quiet when something good happened because they were just absolutely dominated by UConn fans. And it was kind of hilarious, honestly, because every time UConn did something, and it was like loud, so loud. And then when DePaul did something, it was like, okay, here's a cookie. Like, it was like very mild compared to UConn. And of course it's at DePaul's arena, so like when they had like the players come out or whatever, it was this whole like theatrical thing. And like it didn't get nearly as much excitement as UConn getting announced. So that was kind of fun because I don't know, it was just funny. Like, you could just tell everyone was there. Also, Candace Parker was there, and I am stupid and didn't know that. And the freaking reason I didn't know that is because I guess I live under a rock. And she had been posting on Instagram all day, like in Chicago, like posted a picture of her eating like Portillo's fries. I was like, oh my gosh, I literally didn't know that Candace Parker was in the same arena as me. And that's so sad. And then so was AZ Fudd's grandpa, which is legendary. He's literally the cutest person ever. He was there. Like, what? That's crazy. But, like, Candace Parker really had my jaw dropped. I don't know where Candace Parker lives. Where? This is a creepy thing to look up. Candace Parker. Whoa, I can't spell. Parker. She lives in Los Angeles. So she's like far. So she really came out to like support the girlies. Which, like, yes, she plays for UConn. So she played for UConn. So it does make a lot of sense. But like, bro, I told you. So it like makes sense. But I was just absolutely jaw agape when I found out that she was there, and I found out about it after I had left the arena. Otherwise, I would have tried to find her in the crowd. But super cool to like see UConn like play. Like I have watched them play on a screen so much, and then to like actually see it happen was so sick and honestly like like emotional for me. I don't know why, but it was so different. It was so different. I feel like that's any like women's sports game I go to. Like the first PWHL game I went to, it was that way. The first W game I went to, I was like almost like choked up, like being able to see it happen in real life. And that's so dramatic, but that's like me. So yeah, you're gonna get some tears, and there definitely were tears. Let me freaking tell you guys, this is like the most Chicago thing that's ever happened to me before. So before I got to the game, if you like don't know me on a personal level, my phone is always dead. My phone is always dead, always plugged in. It's always dead. I don't know, like, it's just the person I am, I guess. I just like forget to plug my phone in. I don't know. Sorry. So my phone was dead, so I took one of my roommate's portable chargers and like went on my way. And I took the bus to get there, and there were 2 buses. So I got on the 8 bus, got off where I was supposed to, and then got confused and got on the wrong 21 bus. And I realized it the second I sat down. So then I rode it to the next stop. And for whatever reason, like the first stop was in Pilsen. So it was like fine. Like I felt safe. Like it's Pilsen. It's good, you know? And then wherever the next stop was, which was like literally 2 minutes away from Pilsen, like a 2-minute ride on that bus, was like deserted and terrifying. And so I pull out my phone. It's at 1%. I plug it in. Portable charger doesn't work. So I am really panicking because I was like, what am I going to do? You know, like, what am I going to do? So I see the other bus, the other 21 bus was on the right one was on the other side of the road, the sign. So I run over there and I get on it right when the bus shows up. So it was perfect. And I was like, I don't really know where to get off, but I'm going to make it work. I'm going to figure it out, you know, like. It can't be that. Like, I know Wintrust. I've been around that area before. So, like, I had, like, a relative understanding of where to get off. And so I got off at the right spot. And then I was like, oh, my God, my ticket is on my phone. So I was like, wait a minute. I have an Apple Watch. So I get in. I show them my Apple Watch. It works. I found a, like, plug-in in a very random area. Plugged in that little portable charger for a while, and I was good for the rest of the game. But let me tell you, those 20 minutes where my phone was dead was the most terrifying moment of my life. And it really just showed me how little survival skills I have. And like the way I wanted to call my mom the whole time, the way I was like, oh my God, I just need to call my mom. Like, even though she'd be like, I don't know where you are. Like, I don't know what to do for you. I'm sorry. That's what the conversation would have been like. And I was like, oh, I just need to call my mom. Like, she could probably help me in some way. Yeah, no. Like, I was cooked no matter what. But it ended up being okay. And then at the game, probably like during like the third, my blood sugar started to get really low. Well, no, like my blood sugar was like 100 on my pump, and then things started to get very weird. Like I started to get really confused, and like the lights were a little too bright. So I ate what I had. But when I tell you my blood sugar stayed low into the end of the game, I'm not even joking. So then I called my mom and I was like, can you please just get me an Uber back? And so I failed and I Ubered back. And yeah, it was what a night. Like that, only that kind of stuff would happen to me, you know? That is just really like my life, truthfully. I was like, my thought process is always like, okay, I've had such a good day. What bad is going to happen to me? You know, like, oh, it's been such a good day. now something bad needs to happen. That's my OCD, but, like, I'm sure there are other people that do that. Anyway, enough about me and about you, Con, and about my life and whatever, because this is not what this podcast is about. As funny as it would be if I had a podcast that was just about my life, because it genuinely, I would have content every week. I would have an hour of content. I would. And I would name drop and I'd do all the things. As fun as that would be, I don't really think people want to know. Like, I don't think y'all want to know. So, with that being said, broadcasting Beckers, yeah, wow. So, there was the Unrivaled games in Philly, and it was Phantom and Breeze. Breeze is who Paige pays for, mind you. Over 21,000 people in attendance, by the way, in case you were freaking wondering. Yeah. What? So, wow. That broke a lot of records, and for all the people saying that nobody watches women's sports, wrong. Because I've never seen an arena so packed. Same with the UConn game. I've never seen Wintrust packed like that before, and it was. So, very cool. But yeah, the Unrivaled game, over 21,000 people. And I don't know if you guys watch Not Gonna Lie. It's the podcast that Kylie Kelsey hosts, but it's hilarious, and it's, like, so, like, real, and I love it. She had Paige Beckers on, I want to say last week, before the Unrivaled game, and they talked about Shirley Temples, their love of Shirley Temples. And so at the actual game, Kylie Kelsey brought Paige Sprite and grenadine and, like, made her, like, a cup of ice and, like, made her a Shirley Temple, and it was beautiful. And then Paige, like, traded it with a jersey, so that was really cute. And then there was definitely, like, a big Kelsey Plum and Paige rivalry, which, like, we love to see because like, Kelsey Plum, she's a chirper. She's gonna chirp. She's gonna try and hurt your feelings. And so is Paige. Like, they both argue with the refs. Like, Kelsey Plum is no Diana Taurasi the way that Paige is, I don't think, but, like, they're gonna chirp and they're gonna get heated. And so for them to be, like, posted up on each other, it was kind of, like, really fun. I loved it, and it was really fun to watch. I didn't watch the game because I am broke and can't pay for that HBO subscription. But yeah, I watched a lot of highlights. So, really fun game. We love to see it. Guys, I'm so tired. I swear I'm, like, hallucinating. Like, things are moving in here that are stationary. And that just shows how sick I am and how much I've been downplaying this. So, wow. I really maybe should have canceled my show this week. But it's okay. You know what I need? I need Dr. Pepper. I hope y'all heard that, because that was beautiful. Okay. Wow, that's really probably not going to help my cough issue. It's a bit of a scratch down the throat. Okay, so into the next, because I have a lot. Every episode, I'm, like, diverting into a lot of different things today, but every episode I'm like, oh, I do not have enough to talk about. Mind you, pages full of things for me to talk about, because I know I've mentioned that I write down my episodes. Like, I don't write, like, word for word, but I write down, like, to guide myself a little bit, and I'm always like, oh my gosh, I don't have enough to talk about. Do I even know myself? Like, I will always find something to talk about. Like, trust. But yeah, next thing I want to talk about, and this is, like, more, like, wait, let me put my charger away before I forget it. One sec. Okay, sorry. I have to put my charger away because, guys, my brain is not working right now. If I don't put it away now, it's never getting put away. Okay, so what I wanted to say. Okay, so why I needed my phone. Let me pull that up. I am a freaking disaster. Okay. Wait. Yeah. Okay, I found it. Okay, wait, now I have to cough. Oh, Jesus. Okay, so this week, the WNBA and I always mess this up. The WNBPA, the Players Association, met for 3 hours in New York City, including Alicia Clark, Brianna Turner, Stephanie Dolson, Nika Yomike, and they declined on comments. But Nafisa Collier and Kelsey Plum were supposed to be there, and they missed due to travel issue. I believe they missed their flight. So, very cute of them. Very real of them. So, they were supposed to be there, but they were not. And this is the update. Well, okay. Was it really? Okay. So, basically what happened is, like, one of the slideshows got leaked. So, we're getting stuff that we might have, like, not supposed to got. We are getting content that we probably weren't supposed to see. So they released, I don't know where this happened, but we got like a one of the slideshow slides of what the CBA is proposing rather than a higher salary. So yeah, okay. So let me just read this to you and I'll like give my comments. So new revenue sharing system. This okay. It's because I don't really think I like did this well enough. Are they playing Renee Rapp in there? No, they aren't. Okay, sorry. This is what they are offering players rather than a higher salary and more you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Okay. Significantly increased player salaries tied to revenue growth. Tied. Upward salary adjustments to all existing rookie scale contracts. So, higher rookie contracts, which is good. Team charter travel. Preseason, regular season, and postseason. Team charter travel. That should be there anyway. Thank you. First class travel in and out team market also should be there anyway. They should not be in business. They are famous athletes. Or whatever it's called. I forget. Business and coach. Like coach. Okay. Higher salary increases in multi-year contracts. So again, have to be there for multiple years. More allowed guaranteed contracts per team. So that would be like adding new having more contracts. So like having more players on the teams, basically like reserve players and such. Additional categories of salary protection, 2 new developmental player roster spots, which is always good because I feel like the cuts after the draft are audacious. They're like literally insane and honestly horrible. Am I using that word right? Let's look it up. Rose-colored glasses on her audacious. Yeah, okay, I am. Okay, so increased salary cap exception for pregnant players. New salary cap exception for season-ending injuries. Higher allowable salaries and veteran extensions. New team staffing requirements, physicians, trainers, strength and conditioning coaches, physical therapists, and access to a nutritionist. Increased performance bonuses for awards and playoff advancement, which is, we'll talk about that. We'll get back to that one. Higher team contributions to players' 401k retirement accounts. Recognition payment for current retirees. Increased per diem with annual cost of living increases. Additional funding for player programs and access for recently retired players. Broader access to family planning benefits. Medical benefits continuation for players waived after midpoint of season. Which, yeah, that's so important. New requirement to allow young children of players and their caregivers to travel with team. It wasn't like that before. What? Required family rooms during games. Again, it wasn't like that. Increased life insurance benefit. Pregnant player trade consent. What? Guaranteed training camp invitation for pregnant players with expiring contracts. New non-birthing parent leave policy, which I feel like is so incredibly important in a league that has so many gay players. Additional mental health resources, earlier first payment of annual salary, mobile medical record app for players, ability to invest in and have endorsement deals with sports betting, fantasy, and cannabis companies, 50% of certain team fines donated to PA selected charity, which is very cool. I like that. Elimination of marijuana testing, new treatment programs for marijuana, alcohol, and abuse, shorter disqualification periods under anti-drug program, complimentary all-star tickets for all players. And that one just made me laugh because I was like, what? Like, what are we talking about? And then free WNBA League Pass. Also, you didn't even give them a League Pass? They couldn't even watch the games? Like, they had to pay for the League Pass. I'm sorry. Which, honestly, like, those aren't even the most, like, ridiculous ones, but they were the ones that I was, like, laughing at because I was like, why didn't you give them this before? But basically, that's like the biggest FU ever. And honestly, one thing I'm hoping that y'all noticed when I read that is that, like, those are all things that NBA players get. NBA players have been getting that. That's been okay for them. And we're about to go into a league lockout because the CBA and the WNBA are not okay with these things that, like, every other league gets without asking because they're men. And that is how this system works. And it's honestly so upsetting to me. And, the league's what's going to happen is going to happen. And honestly, it's looking like a league lockout right now because I know Breonna Stewart said, like, we want to play, but we won't until we get what we want. We want to play, but we're going to fight for this. Like, it's not them not wanting to play. It is them, like, genuinely, like, they're asking for the bare minimum here. So that was quite a shocker to be, like, getting on my feed. Honestly, like, really made me super duper angry. I know there was other stuff said about it. Let me check my camera roll. Okay. Yeah, like, the key... Okay, I'm glad I screenshotted this because I would have looked it up anyway. Okay, so the key differences in the NBA, what the NBA players receive compared to W players, is substantially higher revenue share. And I know I've mentioned this before. NBA players receive 50% and W players receive 9.3%. Higher salaries. The NBA salary average is $9.6 million, whereas the average W salary is $120,000. Wow. Perks and amenities. NBA players receive private jets, luxury team travel, 4 complimentary home tickets. W players rely on commercial flights, literally. Guaranteed contracts. Fully guaranteed in long-term deals, basically. And then post-career benefits. The WNBA provides extensive and long-lasting post-career and retirement benefits, whereas, like, the W, for example, you have to play for over 8 years to receive health benefits after you retire. Ridiculous. Unnecessary. So, there is some major, like, disgusting differences. Like, this says, unlike the WNBA, which owns about 42% of the W, players cannot earn health insurance for their families after retirement. What? Like, it's so bad. Yeah. But yeah, it's honestly, like, really embarrassing that they haven't... First of all, that they don't even give them a league pass, but more than anything, it's just embarrassing that they also didn't give them all-star tickets. Like, this is their teammates, and you aren't gonna fund that. Also, one thing I wanted to bring up: Overtime Basketball posted, name an athlete whose arrival changed everything for the franchise, and it was a picture of Caitlyn and Paige. And I would just love to say, like, where is Angel Reese in this discussion? Where is she? Because she is always not there. Like, and I remember the buzz around Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. Like, it was absolutely insane, and it brought so much attention to the both of them. So for us to be, like, discrediting Angel because she's seen as the air quote bad guy, which she is not, is so disappointing because she literally has everything to do with it. But whatever. It's gonna stay that way. Like, she's gonna be seen as a villain. People are still gonna say she's a bad basketball player. All that stupid stuff. But they're wrong. They obviously don't appreciate or watch women's basketball that much if they're saying that. One sec, my mom texted. Okay, sorry. My mom texted me, and I got to respond to my mom, so. What? Oh, sorry. I just got a weird text message. Okay, I'm really sorry. I need to be, like, on my game right now. Okay. Next thing I want to talk about, because I'm going to get angry if I talk about CBA negotiations anymore, and I'm pretty sure I covered mostly all of it. One thing that is crazy to me, though, is at the beginning of this podcast, I was like, oh, for sure by December we'll have an answer. Something will have happened. No, they're still being horrible and not giving them what they need. Not just want, what they need and what they deserve. But yeah, I need a drink of my Dr. Pepper. Okay. So, another thing I wanted to talk about, and there's a backstory behind this, and I'm so sorry to my mom and dad, but basically, so in recent light of events, I had a Tinder hookup where the girl taught me, like, how to play rugby because she's a rugby player. And guys, when I tell you, like, I should have been watching rugby so much more because now it's, like, literally the coolest thing ever. So basically how this happened was she had in her bio, like, let me teach you how to play rugby. And so I used that as, like, my like pickup line, and it worked. And so then when I actually, like, got there, she was like, do you actually want to watch rugby? And I was like, yes. I was like, I have a sports podcast and I want to talk about rugby on my sports podcast. So we're definitely going to do that. One sec. I need another drink. My throat is so dry. Sometimes I wish that this podcast had video, because genuinely it would make all the difference if you guys could see what I was doing when I'm absolutely silent and you can't hear me at all. So, yeah, it's usually I'm drinking a Dr. Pepper or someone texted me and I feel the need to respond, like, right away. So, sorry about that, y'all. I tried to narrate it, but it doesn't always work. Anyway, so now that I've become, like, clairvoyant to rugby, that didn't make any sense, but you know what I meant. I'm going to teach y'all about rugby because I think everyone should watch this sport because it's so darn cool. Okay. My roommates are texting me, sorry. I have to respond to them. They're literally my babies. Okay, so, next. I'm going to teach y'all about rugby. Oh my god. Okay. This has got to be by far one of the worst episodes I've ever recorded, but it's fine. You guys have to understand, I'm, like, ill. So, basically, I'm going to explain rugby 15s, and that just means that there is 15 players on each side. There's also rugby 7s, but rugby 15s makes more sense to me, so I'm just going to explain rugby 15s. And that's usually, like, the rugby that the people watch is rugby 15s. So that's what I'm going to talk about. So basically, rules of rugby. One of the most jarring things I thought when I first watched rugby is the lack of padding, helmets. One thing that is new that they implemented in, like, professional rugby, women's rugby, is the use of mouth guards that have a light in them to, like, indicate head injury. And I believe there's, like, they connect to something that'll show to, like, physical trainers or medical staff if someone has been hit hard enough in the head that there has been a signal sent to this like mouth guard. It's very, very, very cool, especially in a sport that has a lack of any protection whatsoever. So going on from that, they are taught to use only their arms and their shoulders when making contact. And if they don't use their arms and shoulders, they have to sit out for 10 minutes in rugby 15s and then 2 minutes in rugby 7s. Because, also really cool, you can go without a player for quite a while. You can go down to, I think, 13 players in rugby 15s before they say, hey, you have to get someone on the field. That's not ideal, but you can. Like, it's possible, which is so cool because no other sport is like that. Like, unless it's a penalty, like, you have to have your players on the field. It's so cool. So, this might not make any sense to y'all by the end of this, but I'm, like, asking you, like, please just go watch rugby because it's so sick. Okay, so there's 15 players on each side, as I had previously stated, and there's 80 minutes in total, or, like, 40-minute halves, and it's the size of, like, a soccer field. So, like, imagine running back and forth for, like, 80 minutes. Insane work. But 80 minutes to pass the ball past their opponent's side of the field where their Tryline is, which is like their goal line. They call it a Tryline, which I think is kind of funny. So then players, this baffled me. Players, actually everything about this sport baffles me. Players can only pass the ball backwards or sideways with no blocking allowed. So like, I feel like now that I know how, like, actually insanely hard rugby is, football looks like light work to me. Like they get to run around in all this padding, and there's all these freaking rules, and rugby's just, like, it's not a free-for-all, because there are some really niche rules, but, like, it's so much harder and so much more, like, badass. Like, it's so much cooler. So, sorry, I lost my spot. Okay. They use lineouts, which I'll explain what all these words mean. They use lineouts, mauls, rucks, and scrums to retain possession of said ball. And if you haven't seen a rugby ball, I believe it's on my Instagram post. There's like a little one. It's white. They look kind of like footballs. And the one thing that also really got me is that the ball can touch the ground. The ball can touch the ground and nobody gonna say nothing about it. Like, it's fine. So I thought that was quite interesting, really. And rugby is unique because players continue to play after they're tackled. So, like, when a player who is, like, running with the ball has it, they usually get tackled and then pass the ball. And, like, it just keeps going. Like, it just goes and goes and goes and goes. Like, if you watch, like, a good little, like, I'm going to say volley. That's not the right word. Like, a good old run of it. Like, it's just, like, one person has the ball, they get tackled down, they pass it. That person has the ball, they get tackled, they pass it. The next person has the ball, they get tackled, they have it. Like, it's so cool. And it's so fun to watch. It's so, like, satisfying, truthfully, how they run across the field. So, kicking is the only way for the ball to move forward, other than, like, if you're holding it and running without getting tackled. Those are the only ways that the ball can run forward. Otherwise, they're getting passed backward or sideways. So cool. After you score at the try line, or after you try, you get 5 points, and then there's conversions similar to football that are also allowed for 2 points. And the cool thing about the conversions is that when you score, you touch the ball down onto the ground. Wherever the ball is touched down on the ground, that's where you kick from into, like, the field goal. What? Like, that's so cool. Who came up with that? But it's so cool. Okay, so now I'm going to explain to you. Another really cool thing is that, like, there's no, like, yes, there are numbers on their jerseys, but the numbers correlate with what position you are. So, like, you don't get to pick your number. Like, it's whatever position you are. So, sorry, I need my Dr. Pepper. Okay. So, number 1, you have the prop and, in parentheses, tight head. 2 is the hooker. 3 is the prop loose head. 4 is a lock. 5's lock, 6 is a flanker blind side, 7 is flanker open side, 8 is literally number 8, 9 is scrum half, 10 is fly half, 11 is wing left, 12 is center inside, 13 is center outside, 14 is wing right, and 15 is fullback. So, like, what cool names. I feel like I'm in freaking Harry Potter. Like, I feel like we're about to do what's that thing called in Harry Potter? What's the game they play? Oh, it's literally in the back of my mind. It's there. Crap. Oh my God, what's it called? Oh, I gotta look it up. Oh, I'm gonna be so freaking mad. Game in Harry Potter. Quidditch! Oh, it feels like Quidditch. Like what's a scrum half? What's a fly half, you know? Flanker? What's that? Anyway, so I'm going to try to, like, explain this to you in a way that may or may not make sense. Okay, so, again, 15, I drew this out, but, like, I'm going to have to explain it to you, like, with my words, because I have it in front of me. I can see it. But this is, like, the layout on the field. So you have your forwards and your backs. So your forwards are the tacklers. They're the people tackling. They're the people pushing. And ideally, the people in the back are the people that are passing the ball. I mean, of course, the backs are going to get tackled, but the forwards are the ones doing the tackling to the other team. So the forwards are there to protect and push and do all the crazy things in offense and defense. And the backs are trying to move the ball, but they're getting tackled too. So how this works. So you have number 1, which is your prop and your prop tight head, right next to 2, which is your hooker, and 3, which is your prop loose head. So they're 3 all really close to each other in a line. And then right directly behind them is 4, your lock, and 5, your lock. So 1, 2, and 3 are in a tight line. And then right behind them is 4 and 5, who are also tied next to each other, and right behind 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so then directly behind 4 and 5 is number 8, and then on the wings of 4 and 5, like catty corner to the back of them, is the flanker blind side and the flanker open side. So that is your forwards. And then for your backs, how this works is quite confusing, I'm not going to lie. So you have your wing, which is you have your left wing. So they're on the left, and then like diagonal to the front a little bit to them is the scrum half, and then like diagonal to the right of the scrum half is the fly half, and then diagonal to the right again behind them a little bit is the center inside, and then what number is that? That's 13. And then right diagonally behind them is the center outside, and then right directly behind them is the right wing, and then behind everybody is the fullback. So if that made any freaking sense to you, I'm really grateful. But if that didn't, I'm really sorry. Because it's hard. Like, you have to, like, have, like, a picture of it. Because, like, really, it's so strategic how, like, the positions that they're in. So if that made any sense to you, congrats. You really get me on, like, a molecular level. But if it didn't, like, please look up a picture and, like, maybe it'll click for you. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Okay, sorry. Let me take a sip. Okay, next. Okay, so now I'm going to give you some terms because earlier I know I said some words that may not have made any sense. So a try is touching the ball down to score. You have to try to score. But the word try is when they touch the ball down once they get past the try line, which is the goal line. And then the try zone is the area in which they score or try. And I did that with like air quotes because you're supposed to say try, I guess. So then a conversion similar to football is the kick after the try. And then I explained earlier that they can only kick from where the ball was scored. So where they tried, where they touched that ball down. So sometimes that makes it really difficult because they want to like try to swing around and drop the ball dead center, but they can't always do that. They can't always get away. So sometimes the conversion really is just impossible. And I think that's such a cool rule because it adds such a layer to conversions, because in football, I feel like conversions are so, I don't want to say simple, but truthfully, they are like a little more like dense than in rugby, because that try means everything. Like where you set that ball determines if you're going to get that conversion or not. So anyway, next word. A penalty is a kick worth 3 points to non-offending team, like any other sport. And then they also have penalties where you can get like sat out, which I had said earlier, for 10 minutes for 15s. Okay, so the touch line is out of bounds. So that's like the out of bounds line. And then the try line is the goal line, which I know I've used that word a few times. Okay, so a tackle is when the ball carrier is brought down and held to the ground and they must release the ball. Or if they don't release the ball, then they're going to do something that I'm going to mention to try to keep possession. So then a ruck is the ball is on the ground. How do I even demonstrate this? So basically how a ruck works is there's like 2 or 3 people in the I think it's your prop, your hooker, your prop tight head, your hooker, and your prop loose head in the front, and then everyone else behind them, and they are connected to the opposing team, and the ball is rolled down the middle, and they cannot use their arms, but they have to use their legs to push the ball back. Because the ball cannot be handled in a ruck. It's moved until it reaches the hindmost foot, and then it can be picked up. So, like, what? It's crazy. And then a maul is when the ball carrier is held up and the ball must be off the ground and a minimum of 3 players must be involved. That's a maul. A line out is when the ball goes out and the players all line up, and then the ref will take the ball and throw it down the middle. And then usually what they do is they'll lift a player up to catch the ball, and then they have possession. So like usually what they do is they'll grab them by their shorts and lift them up above their heads, and then they catch the ball and bring them down. Like that's usually what a line out consists of. And it's so cool. If you haven't seen a lift in rugby, like please look, it's so cool. So then a scrum is after it's after an infringement, and it's similar to a ruck, if that made any sense. And then the sin bin was the other term that it told me to tell the class about. And if you don't watch hockey, you don't know what the sin bin is. That's like the penalty box. That's when you like get sat out. That's the sin bin. I've only ever heard it used in hockey, so it's kind of interesting to like draw that parallel. That there's also a sin bin in rugby, which is so cool. So yeah, that's rugby. And if you just listen to me talk about that and you don't want to go watch rugby, you're so uncool. Even if it's like just like a snippet, like please go watch it. Especially women's hockey. Please watch women's hockey. Women's rugby. Guys, I'm sick. Please just give me a break. Please go watch women's rugby. It's so cool, and female athletes are so awesome, and I love them. So next thing I want to talk about, and I do not have much time to talk about it, probably not as much time as it deserves, but I might bring it up and go a little more in on it. But I want to talk about the uniform crisis in women's sports, because I feel like it is so often like noticed that women's sports uniforms are so much more immodest. And I'd like to go in by saying that I would say I dress immodestly sometimes, and I don't care. But some people do care, and they do want the right to be able to cover up more. And whatever their motive may be for that, it doesn't matter whether it's religion or simply just a choice. It doesn't matter. Female athletes should have the choice to dress modestly playing their sport. And the fact that men made that choice for us is so disappointing. And truthfully, unfortunate. So, I just wanted to preface that. I don't think it should be an expectation that women have to dress modestly in sports, but I don't also think it needs to be an expectation that women dress immodestly in sports. I believe it should be a choice. So, In the 20th century, uniforms were enforced to be glamorous for the male gaze in women's sports because they were like, oh, no one's going to watch these women. We should put them in we should put them in these glamorous outfits that relay their figure and their form so that these men will not find it boring and want to watch it. That was genuinely their thought process. I am not even exaggerating. So then it's said to be for performance and range of motion, which can be legit to some sports. For example, swimming and diving. Yes, they want to wear less for drag and that kind of thing. Yeah, like that is true. One sec. That makes sense. But there are some sports where it truly does not make any sense to me that they should have to dress that way. If they don't want to. So, yes, for some sports it is legit that they need it for performance and range of motion. But for most, it really should be a choice. So, many sports require revealing kits, like beach volleyball, for example. Like it is required to wear bikini bottoms and sports bras in beach volleyball. It is in their rule book. You have to wear that as a women's beach volleyball player. And in 2021, the Norwegian team got fined for wearing shorts instead of bikini bottoms. They got fined. I remember there had to be like a GoFundMe so that they could afford to continue because they freaking wore shorts instead of bikini bottoms. Like, when I'm watching beach volleyball, I'm not watching it because the people playing are in bikinis. I'm watching it because beach volleyball is cool and super hard and so interesting to watch. Like, no, I'm not watching it to watch people in bikinis. No, I'm not. Another reason they gave is it's used to enforce like femininity. Like it doesn't. The thing that really gets me is I feel like it doesn't allow for individuality. Like everyone has a different take on how they dress. You know, like I, for one, am not scared to show some skin. I don't care. And some people are, and that's okay. And that's your choice. And why enforce that femininity and take away that individuality? Being feminine is so cool, but it's also cool to have the choice to cover up more or cover up less or dress more masculine or dress non-binary or however you may like. It's cool to have that individuality, especially in sports. I feel like it's so cool and important. And what gets me is like one thing that I always wondered is because I played volleyball in middle school and I always wondered why do we have to wear spandex? I think that's so stupid. And we were always told it like helped you move faster and it helped with like court burn, which doesn't make any sense to me because any clothes they used to be able to wear basketball shorts in volleyball. And now you're making me believe I have to wear spandex? That's stupid. I don't get it. So that always really irked me. That really bothered me. I never liked that. And you can wear leggings in volleyball, but how would that be any better for someone who wants to dress modestly? It's really not any better. But really like what I get out of this is wear what you want. Wear what you want when you're playing sports. Nothing is quote unquote slutty or too modest. And don't let men make you think you're asking for it by wearing anything. And that goes to be said outside of sports. You could say that in sports, you could say that in life. Never, ever, ever let a man make you feel like you dressed for the male gaze. And listen, if you were, okay, cool. That's your choice, girl. Like, you do what you want. But wear what you want. Do what you want. And especially don't conform to men, because men suck. And if there's one theme that I get across in this podcast, it is that. And this topic especially gets me fired up because I feel like from the very beginning, women were not given the choice with individuality and what we wear and what we look like. It was never a choice. it was always in the image of men, and that is truly an issue in women's sports. It was all started to appeal to a man, and they never made any changes about it. And we're still dealing with that heavily in women's sports, and it sucks, and it's unfortunate. It was just Women in Sports Day. Women and Girls in Sports. And I think it's so cool to be seeing people post who aren't necessarily athletes, but they are like, behind the scenes. They're the journalists. They are the marketers. They are the people selling tickets. They're people doing ticket sales. They're the people doing the businessy stuff. Like, women can literally do anything in sports. And I also think we need to normalize women coaching, women's teams, women-led staff in women's teams and such. I think that's so important. So with that being said, I think I'm going to leave it on that beautiful message because that is just how I feel. Especially on Women and Girls Sports Day, which was yesterday. So with that being said, Femme Forward Forecast, I literally don't know what I'm going to talk about next week. But one of these nights at 2 a.m., I'm going to wake up and know. And that's how this podcast works, truthfully. It is life that gives me the signs to what my episode's going to be about. So we'll see. Probably I'll definitely talk about the Winter Olympics because those just started today. Shout out Layla Edwards for being the first ever Black woman to play for USA women's hockey in the Olympics. That was her first debut today against the Czech Republic, and the U.S. And I don't know the score of that game because I didn't get to watch, because I was in class. But I should look. So shout out. That was really cool. But basically, as always, stay sweaty, stay sapphic, and stay batty on and off the court. I'll catch you next week. Same time, same vibe, same mic, same energy. Bye.